Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to start working on a hat. Okay, so right now you already know how to chain stitch, you already know how to do a half double crochet. So now we're going to kind of put those together. So again, I'm going to start like I did before with my slip knot to get the stitch onto the hook. Okay, now I'm going to chain 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now I'm going to take the end of my hook and I'm going to put it in the first stitch of the chain. So I'm going to put it in there and just break through the V, grab the yarn, bring it through that and through the other loop. So there's 2, so I'm bringing it through both. So what I've done is I've made a little ring. You can see the circle. So I'm going to actually work into that ring now. So I'm going to chain 1. And now I use my back finger to open up that hole in the middle of that ring. And I'm going to do my half double, wrap it around into the hole, bring it through, go through all 3. I'm going to continue to do that in the center hole until I have 8. So each time I'm going into that hole in the middle of the ring. And it kind of forces me to go around the circle. So sometimes you have to kind of push them over depending on how many stitches you have. But we're doing that half double crochet, wrap it around into the hole, and then go through the 3. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I need 2 more. Again, into the hole and into the hole. So now I have 8 half double crochets into that center hole. And you can see that it's not connected, so we want to do that. So right here is that first chain. So I'm going to stick my hook into the chain, bring it through, bring it through. That's called a slip stitch, like if you were to slip on the floor. Okay, you're just slipping it together. It's a joining stitch. It doesn't really make it any bigger. It just brings that circle together. All right, so now I'm ready to do my second row. So I'm going to chain 1, and it's a good thing to put a stitch marker at this point. So stitch markers can be like fancy little things that they sell, or you could just use a safety pin. So we're going to just mark that beginning chain so that we know where that is. The tail is also that starting point, but in the beginning you might want to have a marker there. So now I'm going to put 2 half double crochets into each of these. So you can kind of see how that little V is created around the outside, just like your other stitch. It's just in a circle. So let's move that guy out of the way. So I'm going to wrap it around and I'm going to go under both stitches of the V. And I'm going to do, so I did the 1, now I'm going to do a second one in the same exact spot. So you can see how there's 2 stitches attached to that one hole. Now I'm going to move over to the next one and I'm going to go under the stitches of the V, bring it through and finish my stitch. Again, 2 in there. So as I go around, I'm doing 2 stitches, 2 half double crochets in each of the holes. That's going to give me, I had 8, so I'm actually doing 2 in every single one. So this row is going to have 16 stitches because we're starting at the top of the hat. So you want the hat to get larger as it comes down. So we're going to go in each one of these holes and we're going to do, I'm going in every single one, but I'm doing 2 in each one. And I use that back finger again to open it up so I can figure out where it is. Here's my last one. And now I'm at the end. So now I have to join that back together. Okay, so now here's my first chain. I'm going to put my hook in there, do a slip stitch, grab it, bring it through all the way. Then I'm going to chain 1 and I'm going to move my pin. I'm going to attach it onto that new chain 1 so I know where it is when I come back around. Now, if I continue to do 2 stitches in every single one, I'll get like a flat disc, like a plate, paper plate. And I don't want that. I want the hat to kind of curve as it goes. So the next one I'm going to do is I'm going to do 1 in the first one and then 2 in the next one. So I'm going to do 1 half double in my first stitch. Okay, now I'm not going to go back in that same hole. I'm going to go to the next one and I'm going to do 2. So I'm going to do 1 in there and then I'm going to do it again in the same exact spot. So I'm still increasing. Increase is when I add a stitch, but I'm not increasing as much because I'm going to do one in the first hole, two in the next one, one in the next one, two in the next one. So I'm alternating now. So now I'm doing one, and then in the next hole, I'm going to do two stitches. One, there's my second. Then I'm going to do one, and I'm going to do two in here. And then I'm going to do one in here, and I'm moving around, and then I do two in this hole. And then one in here, and then two in here. And then one in the next, and two in the next. One here, I'm almost around. I have more stitches now, right? So two in here, and then one, and then I could do two more in there, but I'm at the point where I'm gonna come together. Sometimes it doesn't work out perfectly even, and it doesn't really matter. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna join this together. There's my chain. Oh, actually, if you look at it, my chain is right there, so I could do the two in there and make it even. So let's do that. You can always count it. I never count. If you're making like a stuffed animal or something, you really should count. But if you're making something that it doesn't totally matter exactly, then you don't necessarily have to count. Okay, all right, so now I have two, I have my center row, that was where I did the 8, then I did 2 in every single one, then I did 1, 2, 1, 2. All right, I'm sure you can guess what I do next. Chain 1, let's put that marker back in. Now I'm going to do 1 in this hole, 1 in the next one, and then 2 in the third one. So what I'm doing is my increases are where I have 2 stitches in the same hole, and I'm just spreading them out further. So I do 1 in this hole, 1 in this hole, 2 in the next one, 1 in this hole, 1 in this hole, 2 in the next one, 1, 1, oops, stuck. The great thing about crochet is you can always just pull it out if you make a mistake. All right, and I can look back. So I did 1, 1, 1. I'm supposed to do 2 here. Okay, so you're going to continue that around. My next row would be 1, 1, 1, then the 2. 1, 1, 1, then the 2. My next row after that, 1, 1, 1, 1, then the 2. So I have one individual one in the beginning, in the middle, then I have 2 individual ones in the middle, and 3, and you go till this is about 5 inches wide. Then we start doing 1 stitch in every hole to make the hat. I'm going to get that written down for you, but that's the basics to beginning to understand how to start working on something like that. Okay? Good luck.